And out front now, Aya Chemnitz. She is a Greenlandic member of the Danish parliament. And Ms. Chemnitz, I appreciate your time tonight. You heard President-elect Trump today refuse to rule out the use of military force for the U.S. to acquire Greenland. Do you take that threat seriously?
No, actually, I don't. And I think it's been, of course, a wild day, but also a crazy day. And I've been in contact with all kinds of media from all over the world. So, of course, everybody is interested in hearing what is Greenland's position. And Greenland is not for sale. Greenland will never be for sale. And therefore, I think it's important to be more respectful when it comes to a collaboration with a near ally.
There's video today of President-elect Trump's son, Don Jr., arriving in Greenland today. And they've got a crowd of people waiting for him to arrive or cheering him on. Some of them are wearing MAGA hats. Don Jr. then posted a photo from Greenland of even more people wearing MAGA hats behind the American flag. And he posted, along with that, Ms. Chemnitz, quote, Greenland loves America and Trump. And last night, as Don Jr. was on his way to Greenland, President-elect Trump posted saying, I am hearing that the people of Greenland are MAGA. Now, obviously, they're going to post pictures of people who support them. But when you look at those images, when you think about what you know, is it possible that there are people in Greenland who truly do support Trump and support what he wants?
Of course, and I think you can find that in all countries, but I don't think it's part of the majority. I think it's a very small minority. And most of the people on the picture are people that I know. But I also know that with the free lunch that was given to people standing outside, just dragging people in from the street, more or less, giving them a MAGA hat and then just taking pictures. Of course, it's the talk of the town. Of course, it's nice that there's an interest in Greenland, but that's not the same that Greenland wants to be American and we want to be American citizens. Greenland is not mega. Greenland is not going to be mega. And I think in many ways it's a Trump stunt. It's what he's done many times before. But I think the majority in Greenland, they find it quite scary actually and quite uncomfortable that there's so much focus on Greenland and that US is actually in a disrespectful way showing that they would like to be buying Greenland or controlling Greenland. That is not what the population in Greenland wants.
Elon Musk has also been pushing this entire idea, as you're, of course, aware. And Musk is extremely influential with President-elect Trump, to state the obvious, to understate the situation. And Musk said, Ms. Chemnitz, that the people of Greenland should decide their future, and I think they want to be part of America. Um, I know you think that not only is this disrespectful, but that this is some sort of a stunt and may go away. But of course, it has come back. I mean, is there any chance that there ever is some sort of a vote or a referendum or anything of that nature?
There will be an election in Greenland, which is an ordinary election for the parliament back home in Greenland and for the government of Greenland. And it will be in a couple of months, so it will be before April. And in many ways, that will be the most important referendum or election in newer Greenlandic times. So, of course, this is going to be very interesting. I don't have that many concerns. I have some concerns whether people are just scared of what is happening. We're seeing that some people are even talking about moving away from Greenland if that is going to happen. So I think this is not something that is going to happen. I think there might be a referendum about whether we should have independence or not, but I think it should be based on facts. It should be based on what kind of agreements can we have. So I think in many ways we won't necessarily see a change when it comes to the realm. We'll see a change when it comes to a closer collaboration between Greenland and US. When it comes to business development and even defense, I would say, is an area that we could maybe collaborate a little bit more on. So I think extracting rare earth would be interesting for us. Having more tourism, which is, it's quite interesting actually that Trump Jr. is there
Yep.
because he might attract more American tourists to Greenland. But otherwise, Greenland is not for sale and Greenland will never be for sale. So Greenland is not mega and Greenland is not going to be mega.
No, but of course it is fascinating of all the things you talk about with the referendum and where we are, that all this, of course, is This conversation is happening because of what Trump has said. Ms. Chemnitz, I very much appreciate your time and thank you.
Thank you.
All right, David Axelrod's out front now, former senior advisor to President Obama. David, I was just fascinated talking to Ms. Chemnitz because she was very clear this was disrespectful, that Greenland is not MAGA and won't be MAGA. But yet then she listed out, if what Trump wants is more business development, more defense ties, rare earths and tourism, we could do that. I mean, is Trump actually going to,
Yeah.
vis-a-vis this whole conversation, David, actually get what he wants after all?
Well, we'll see, and we'll see if this is just a negotiating posture on his part. You'd have to hope so, but Aaron, and there's no doubt, by the way, that Greenland does have strategic importance to the U.S. But the idea of using military force to seize it was way beyond the pale, except for this. If you think about how Donald Trump reacted to the original invasion of Ukraine by Putin, and you remember this, what was his first reaction? He said, "It's genius. It's genius." I think his idea was, if you can go in and snatch a country, why wouldn't you do it? And, this is concerning because a world that is a jungle where the strong take what they want and overrun whoever they can is not going to be a safe world for Americans or anyone else.
No.
So this kind of loose talk is concerning.
And we have some breaking news coming in, David, just as we were speaking here, and that's from Panama. The foreign minister there is now warning Trump, saying that the sovereignty of the Panama Canal is not negotiable, saying that he has not had any formal contact with Trump's team at all. What do you make of this reaction? I mean, are those just also words?
Look, I don't know. I mean, this, as I said, Trump seems to feel like his words that he can say what he wants to say, and with no impact, no effect. But as Jeff Zeleny said, when presidents talk, they can send armies marching and markets tumbling. And he ought to be a little less loose with his talk. I know one of his appeals is that he is very genuine, very authentic. Nobody ever says, "Gee, I wish Trump would speak his mind." But we may end up saying, "Gee, I wish sometimes he wouldn't," because this can be very dangerous. I'll say one other thing. I don't know one person in this country. I don't believe there's one person who went to the polls in November and said, "Man, I really want Greenland. I'm going to vote for Donald Trump." They went to the polls because they were concerned about the cost of things. Yes, they were concerned about the border. And if he spends his term on trying to brass knuckle neighbors in the region and so on, and not focused on the things that really counted for people when they voted for him, he's going to find that it's not going to be a very successful term.
Yeah, we'll see. Of course, as he also said today, right? It's about much more than Panama, Greenland, Canada, right? I mean, the Gulf of America also.
I wonder, Aaron, how many electoral votes Canada would have if they became a state. He may count those up and decide he doesn't want to go forward with it.
Considering it would appear most of those would be Democratic votes and Democratic senators that he would be ushering into the U.S. All right, thank you very much.